Hey everybody, welcome to News of the Day. We got some really big news that is going to I don't know if it's going to decide if it goes forward, the return to play, the NHL's return to play or not, but it's super big news. You've probably heard about it already, but 11 NHL players have tested positive for COVID-19. I believe the news started to come out of Tampa Bay, where, now I'm not sure of the numbers completely. I heard 8 people. So not 8 players, but either 3 or 5 players and some staffers tested positive in Tampa's practice facility, which is in Florida. And a lot of this problem is coming out of Florida. And it's not really a surprise because Florida, they don't care. They really don't. Their protocols for protecting yourself from COVID-19 aren't very strong. People are out doing whatever they want, not wearing masks, and it's not a surprise. Most of this stuff's coming out of Florida, and you'll see what I mean. But Tampa Bay had to close their facility because of all this to try to keep things safe, to try, I guess, to clean up and see where they're going from there. But they're not the only. I mean, it wasn't 11 players off Tampa Bay. One Toronto Maple Leaf tested positive. The name did come out. I'm not going to give the name here, so you'll have to look elsewhere for it. It's not right to give a player's medical information out without their express permission to do so. It was a hack writer who follows the Maple Leafs that did that. I didn't know that, and I'm really glad I didn't jump on this story last night. I was out all day, came home, found out about this late, and I didn't jump on it. I didn't know what, you'll learn. So 5, maybe 5, up to 5 Tampa Bay players tested positive. Their facility was closed. Major League Baseball, NFL, 1 golfer have tested positive. 23 football players from Clemson, so that's in the college football, tested positive. Football, they carry out, I mean, it's a big roster, but 23, that's literally half or maybe more than half of their roster tested positive. So you've got that. 200 NHL players were tested, and 11 of them came up positive. That's a pretty high number. That's 5.5%, something like that, I think. But the thing is now, think about this. Phase 2. It's not the bubble. When they're talking about going into Phase 3, where players would go from hotel, wherever they're staying, to the practice facility or to where the camp is. And then when it goes to Phase 4, it would be in the hub cities, hotel to arena. That's it, that's all. They're not in that in Phase 2, so there's a little bit more people around. They have more freedom, so it's not a surprise, and it's really not a surprise it came out of Florida to start with. But we have 8 Phillies testing positive. That's in baseball. 8 Philadelphia Phillies tested positive. They closed their facility. That's in Clearwater, Florida. 1 Blue Jay tested positive at their place. They closed with 1 Blue Jay. No chance testing. Closed the facility. That's in Dunedin, which is in Florida. All this trouble so far out of Florida. So like I said, 1 Maple Leaf tested positive. There are no plans, nothing, everyone on Twitter saying close it up, stop, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to happen. There's no plans right now for saying, well, that's it, we're going to end everything. So no plans to cancel the return to play. Phase 3 is still set for July 10th. We already know July 10th is a tentative date anyway, because there's a players vote by June 30th from Elliot Friedman. This is from Elliot Friedman. He says the players will vote on by June 30th, maybe a little earlier, but by June 30th on Phase 3. And we know that Phase 3 is a proposal. Players hadn't signed off yet on it. It was a proposal by the NHL. Players have to vote on that. They will do that by June 30th, and Elliot Friedman thinks that they will not play another game. This is now the second-person insider that I've heard this from, that they will not be playing another game until they come to an agreement on the changes in the CBA. Because for the players, that has to do with the I wanted to say alimony. It's not alimony. You know that whatever they have to. It's not coming to me. But they hold part of their salary, and it gets held, and it's to do with that. And if I remember the word, I'll tell you, but you probably know it, and you're laughing at me, and I get that. So they're also going to vote on the new CBA negotiations, so whatever they're negotiating right now, to change in the CBA and for the extension. They're trying to work out an extension. Well, they're going to vote on the two things. Possibly two dates for that, but Elliot Friedman thinks they'll do it together in one time and have one big vote on those two things. And that'll happen June 30th. So, with all this talk, or not talk, with all these positive tests, I have said for a while that I don't think Max Domi will play. There may even be other players, but Max Domi I don't think will play. That's what I've said up until this point. At this point, I'm going to tell you I'm almost 100% certain, considering this, that players, even if it's not that controlled, I get that, but they tested positive. In the bubble, there's still a chance he could get it. I say he doesn't play. 100% that he doesn't play, and other players will follow suit. There are other players that have conditions that would be problematic if you catch COVID, and I think none of those guys will play. I think we'll even see other players saying, nah, I don't think so. They're allowed to do that, apparently, and we're going to see if that's the case. I know as far as the sick players, guys just saying, well, I don't want to get my kid sick and blah, 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 blah. Don't know if they're going to be allowed. That I don't know, but these guys like Domi will be allowed to bow out, and I do believe they will bow out. Now, the numbers in the U.S. are rising. Not rising could be like that. Numbers in the U.S. are going like that. Like that. Just like Brazil. Did you see the numbers in Brazil? Huge numbers in Brazil. I've been following it. So for the last 5 days, the numbers have gone up exponentially every day. That's what's happening in the U.S. So, begs the question of, is Vegas really a lock in the U.S.? Or is it going to be possible that Canada gets two hubs? We know that Vancouver, Edmonton, and Toronto are in the running. So I can actually see, since even a place like Toronto, where you may say the numbers are still a little elevated, and they are a little bit elevated, but their numbers are way down compared to what they were. And definitely compared to what's happening in the States, numbers are way down. I can see Edmonton or Vancouver getting a hub and Toronto getting a hub, and there's your east-west. Because it'd be safer for the players. So if the NHL is really truthful about that they want this to be as safe as it can be for the players, it might make sense to make both hubs in Canada. Because I don't see this stopping the NHL from going forward with the return to play. I don't think there's a reason yet, because when they do start Phase 3, they will be in a much tighter bubble. No matter how tight they'll say that they were so restricted, they had to do this, that, and that. The thing is, they weren't in a bubble. They still could, there's outside sources that were still at play here, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, people are saying, though, that in the bubble, there's no way they can really catch blah, blah, blah. I don't agree with that on this point, that they're still not 100% safe in the bubble. That's why Domi should be sitting out, is asymptomatic players. You won't, asymptomatic players, or you could just be going into the bubble, right? Just about to start off. You come in contact with somebody. It's going to take a few days, and then you're asymptomatic for a few days, or a week, or 14 days even, and that's how it could get into the NHL, into their bubbles. That's my opinion. It's not 100% safe, but being in the bubble like that they're talking about is way safer than what they are in Phase 2, that's for sure. So I think it'll go on. I think there's a really good chance that Canada gets two hubs because of this, because the numbers in the U.S. are not going to drop. They're not, because they're doing nothing in the U.S., really. Nothing good in the U.S. to stop the numbers from going up. No matter what you want to hear about testing, they're doing the best testing. The testing is the best. It's not the reason for the numbers going up like that in the U.S. It's because nobody there wants to wear a mask. I have relatives in the U.S., and that's what they tell me. Nobody wears a mask. In Canada, it's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. So there's my rant on that. My opinion is that they don't stop. The return to play is going to go forward unless this situation just gets 100% worse. If that's the case, that may stop it, but as it is right now, I don't think so. I don't think so. If they can get this under control and there's no further cases come up, then I think that it goes forward. But it could be stopped by, 40 more players coming up positive. And but I do think they're going forward with the return to play. until further notice. So there you go. That's kind of my rant on this. It's the news of the day. It's only really one subject. I wanted to talk about Dan Carcillo launching his lawsuit against the CHL about hazing. It's a really good topic. I don't really know enough about it, but he launched a lawsuit against the CHL regarding hazing abuse, and he's looking for other players to come forward and just to tell their story. Dan Carcillo wasn't a favorite of mine because he was kind of, I thought, a dirty player. I really did. And talented, no doubt, but I found him to be dirty, and I didn't really like players like that. But it doesn't change that if there's hazing and it's the way that they're talking about it, and some players are coming forward, and you're hearing kind of bad things. So it's a story that's going to be it's going to be a tough path for them, but it's a story that's going to go forward, I think, and we'll be hearing about it. But that's something else. I was going to put it in here. I wasn't sure if I should, and now I just decided to talk about it at the end. So there you go. That's the news of the day. Not a lot of varied topics. I heard nothing about Montreal Canadiens, so that's why there's nothing specific to them on the board so far. It is a little bit early in the day, and there you have it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you like the video, give a thumbs up. While you're down there doing that, any comments you may have about any of this, please leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me know, do you think Domi's going to play now? For people who were Domi, well, Domi's going to play. Do you still think Domi's going to play? If not, how do you think this is going to affect? Do you think any other players are going to back off and say, no, I don't know if I want to play? Coaching staff, anything like that? Let me know in the comment section. Really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed already, please head down there, subscribe, ring the notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge right here at Talkin' Habs. Look for tonight if you're watching this on Saturday. Live stream tonight, Saturday Night Hockey Talk. And join button down there. That's for memberships. So if you're interested to be a member of the channel, click on the join button. It's going to lead you all the way. Starts at $1.99 a month, so you get members only live streams, members only video, which I'm going to be making. I'm trying to make 2 or 3 of them for this coming week, so that's always good. And check it out. It's just hit the join button, and you go from there. So thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate that. Stay safe out there. Please wear a mask. Please wear a mask when you're going outside. You know, if you're walking, you're by yourself and there's not a lot of people around, have the mask with you just in case. You don't have to have it on. When you're driving in your car alone, you don't have to, obviously. But when you're shopping, when you go to work and people are around, wear a mask. It's the safest thing to do. Okay, on that, thanks everybody again for watching. Peace out. See you next video. What a hot day today.